Hello. With this video I want to show you how you can transfer a driver and his helmet, an animated driver and his helmet to another car, from one car to another car. And to demonstrate that I have taken the driver and the helmet and all textures that these meshes use and also the animation file and have put them into a separated folder where also the steering wheel from the car to that I want to adapt or to want to transfer the driver. And then I created a scene file. Scene files can be imported into 3D Zimet. That is also the software with that I will demonstrate that. Yes, it can be bought. It's not free, but I think it's worth the cost. It's a very handy tool to yes change or modify some things in a quick and easy way. It's not made to model, but you can do a lot of things with it, as said, in an easy and quick way. Uh, as the tool is made by Dave Noonan, and his website is sim-garage.co.uk. Maybe if you don't have it, I would suggest to buy it. It's really worth it. Okay. Yes, the scene file that I did make has three instances. One is for the driver with the animation file linked also in that instance. One instance for the steering wheel and one instance for the helmet. Okay, and when I load this file in 3D Zimet, it looks like that. Yes, the Nissan from that I've taken the driver is the official Nissan GT 500, and as you can see, it's a right-seater. And the new car where the driver shall be used for is a left-hand driven car. Okay, before I start, and yes, one thing, I cannot move the driver directly here because yes, I need to have the uh, animation working to see how it is positioned to the steering wheel. I load this as a scene file, and I can only move the whole, so all objects or no objects. So I have to yes do it another way, and it's a bit. It seems to be a bit complicated, but it is not. So as you can see, there are three driver meshes. The max mesh, the best modeled, and two lot meshes. And I will, well, you should use the best mesh, so I use the max mesh and I import it. You click import and import the driver mesh. And this is also, as said, the mesh that we will move. You will see how it works. At first, I will check, can you display the wireframe. I will save the coordinate of this position here. I right click on it because it's the center of the old mesh, and I right click on that point here and click memorize XYZ and write that into an empty editor file. Oh, so this is original or old position. We will need that later. You will see what for it is good for. Okay, now I want to at first want to position the driver exactly in one line with the steering wheel. So we need the center X values of both meshes. Go again in the wireframe display. No, fortunately there are vertices in the middle, so I click again here and select memorize X, Y, Z. Paste it here. That is for the steering wheel. And yes, with the driver it's a bit more complicated because I cannot I right click now on it, but I don't get anything because yeah, that is caused by the animation. So but I can take the X value. When I move the mouse over it, you can see the coordinates here on the bottom, as you will see here. When I move it on the center line, I see minus 0.3. It moves a little bit as it seems. It's minus 0.352. Minus 0.352. Okay. As you can see, the steering wheel is on the positive side and the driver on the negative side here in the loaded scene file. So we can add those two values to get the total amount about that the mesh must be moved. So we add these two values. 9, 13, 6. Okay, I copy that from here and yes, go to the imported Max driver mesh, go to edit, translate and paste it into the X field and say OK. As you can see here now, it was moved. When I look from the correct side, it was moved from the center to the left side. And what you have to do now, and this is very important, every time you move this driver here, you have to reset the pivot point to 0, 0, 0. So stay in edit and face data attributes and set this to 0, 0, 0. Click OK and export the mesh into the original folder that you overwrite the old mesh. Then we have to load the scene again to load the moved driver. Okay, as you can see, it is already behind of the steering wheel now. Now we have to check how the animation looks in relation to the steering wheel. I have to say this is my method to do it. I don't know if there are better or quicker methods, Yes, I do it. I have done it always in that way. So okay. Yes, you can see that the hand in the highest position is a bit too too low to match the upper part of the steering wheel, and we can move the driver forwards around. Yes, I tried with 20 centimeters, and the height I use 4 centimeters. So I go again to the imported driver mesh, edit, translate, and yes, epsilon is to the front or to the rear. We want to move it to the front, so we have to use a negative value. And 20 centimeters is 0.2, that are 20 centimeters. And I want to move it 4 centimeters up, that is 0.04, that are 4 centimeters, and positive because we want to move it upwards. And again, don't forget that, open the face data attributes, and as you can see here, the pivot point did change again to the new values, so you have to reset it to 0, 0, 0 again. And export. And load the driver scene again. Oh, it's a little bit too high now, as it seems. Yes, a little bit. So I will move it 1.5 centimeters down and a little bit more to the front. I give it 4 centimeters to the front. Translate again to the front 4 centimeters and upwards. Was it upwards? Damn. No, the height is too high. Okay. Translate. Four centimeters to the front and 1.5 centimeters down. And reset the pivot again. And export. And load the scene again. As it can be a bit fine-tuned, but to demonstrate it, it is okay, I think. But you can see that the animation doesn't fit 200% to the steering wheel here. The Nissan has another shape of the steering wheel, and as said, you sometimes have to adapt some things if you take a driver from another car. But I think it's not too bad here. Okay, now we have only moved the max driver mesh. We also of course, want to move the two lot meshes and also the helmet, that they match the new position. So I again take this point here from the new position, that we can calculate the total movement that we must do with the other meshes. So here we again have the negative and a positive value. So the total value is an addition of both as positive values. So the total is 0.639, and on the epsilon axis the original old position was positive and the new position is negative, so the mesh was moved to the front. So we have to use a negative value, but we need the total value also here, so we can add these two together. That is 0.239. Is correct? Yes. And we have moved it from the old position to the new position upwards by 24, 25. Is that correct? 4. Yes. Okay. Yes, I will try it out with the helmet. I again import the helmet. And as said, when I move it now here, the helmet and the steering wheel are the only meshes that really have to have a defined pivot point, because they shall rotate around a specified point. And as said, when I import a file and move it, the pivot point will be adapted automatically. So for the helmet, I can just move it and export it, and everything is okay. So again, go to translate, and now I use these values here to move it, and it should end with the correct position then. I hope. 6392 minus 0.239 and 0. Okay. Yes, I export it directly, save, overwrite, and load the scene file. Again, now you can see it is on the old position, and now it should be on the neck of the driver. That looks good. So we can now import the two lot meshes. I import them as objects, the low and the mid mesh, and it did translate again. Zero 0.6392 minus 0.239 5. Okay, and export. Normally, when you load yes, a few meshes X as objects, like here, file, import as objects, and you move them, and you export them, save rFactor to objects, the pivot point also gets in this case, will set to 0, 0, or will stay at 0, 0, 0, or will set at 0, 0, 0 automatically. Also, I export it into the driver folder where everything is stored. And now, just to be sure that the two meshes have the pivot point 0, 0, I import one of them. Go to Edit, Face Data Attributes. As you can see here, pivot point is correct. It's 0, 0, 0. So it's also 0, 0, 0 for the other mesh. So that is done here. Now we can make a short test how it looks in on track. And don't wonder how it will look. I have prepared it a little bit that only the steering wheel and the driver and helmet is visible. But in that way you can better see it. Yes, this is how it looks in game now. As you can see, um, it would have to be fine-tuned a little bit. And what you also can see is that the steering wheel rotation doesn't exactly match the rotation of the hand. The angles are different, as you can see. When you look where the hand is now and related to this little part that shows to the inside of steering wheel, and yes, the relation changes. That is something that you can, and you can also see the steering wheel is too big for this animation. Okay, but you can correct the rotation with an entry in the cockpit info ini, and this is this one, steering degree per frame. The default, when it's set to 1, that is the original animation speed. So you can, yes, adjust it a little bit with this one. I make it a bit bigger that you can see it better. That is the entry that you have to put into the cockpit info any of the car that this animation uses. So I hope I didn't forget anything and hope it is helpful, and thank you for watching.